on this video. Hope you're having an awesome day. Thanks for taking some time every day to hang out with me. Today's video, I'm super excited because it's another collaboration with the lovely Jami Brumfield. Since we did a Harry Potter look, she also wanted to do like another witchy inspired look, and originally I had created a look and I was not happy with it. I was testing out the NYX Sabrina palette and I was super excited for it because I love the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It is one of my favorite shows. Not gonna lie, I am definitely a sucker for those like high school drama shows. I don't know why, but I love them all, like Sabrina, 13 Reasons Why, Outer Banks, you name it. Ever since my friends convinced me to watch that show, which all they had to say was Ross Lynch was in it and I adore him. I loved him in Austin and Ally, and his band was pretty catchy. I was instantly hooked on the show and I bought the palette specifically for the reason of Sabrina. The palette just didn't really work out that well for me when I was trying to execute, but here we are, take two, and I hope that this look works out a little bit better. I will link my collabs playlist to watch previous collabs, and if you're visiting from Jami's channel, welcome. Thank you so much for checking me out. I hope you subscribe and give this video a like before you leave. Honestly, I was having major creator's block when it came to doing like a witchy look. Not gonna lie, I did get a little overwhelmed looking at my collection trying to figure out which palette was really witchy, and hopefully this look won't be like too gothic. But I also saw like gothic witch makeup looks and I figured, you know what, I never got around to do a dedicated video to CREMATED. Long story short, I had to wait until the restock of this palette for my order to be fulfilled. One of the items, I don't know which one, they didn't specify in the email. They ran out of inventory on it. The thing that irked me though is that people that ordered it on the restock got theirs before me, and I'm just like, what is happening? My original intent for that video was gonna do a comparison video between CREMATED, the Urban Decay Smoke palette, and then the ColourPop Smoke Show palette, because I felt like those two palettes could be dupes, but since I got mine so late, never got around doing it, and I figured, you know what, I think these really cool tone shades in this palette could possibly work out for this look. I thought about pairing this palette with Bloodlust because of the rich purple shades, but I kind of just want to dive into this palette alone. And I also have the glosses, so I figured this could be like a 2-in-1 video where I finally get to play with this palette and try out the glosses, but also creating a witchy vibe look. And I know that there's already been swatches on the launch video, and maybe some others that have this palette that swatches too, but I've been really curious on it because when I first saw this palette, I was not crazy about it at all. Really only the shades Angel of Death, Mortuary Beautician, and Pallbearer were like the only shades that really stuck out to me. This last row right here I felt was really light and almost ashy, even though it stated that it's not an ashy palette. But I know from like previous experience with similar shades like this, it has looked really ashy on me and chalky, so I just wanted to test it out for myself. Without further ado, let's watch the palette. Hearse Angel of Death Gravedigger. I really love Angel of Death so much. I kind of expected hers to be a richer black. It kind of looks a little bit muted on the swatch. But of course, these are just swatches. There is no primer or concealer on my arm to act as a base. And of course, it's just my finger to pan and a swipe, as opposed to taking a brush into the pan and blending it out on the eye. And also, since I've had major creator's block, I feel like swatching the palette will also help me decide which shades I want to use. So I'm hoping after this whole palette is swatched, the creative juices will be flowing in. Not gonna lie, I was beating myself up so hard in the first video that I filmed with the NYX one. I scrapped that footage. I'm like, all right, let's get a clear mind and try again. Death Certificate, RIP, Pallbearer. And this is the top row swatched. Inheritance, Wednesday, Mortuary Beautician. Last Look, Solemnly Swear, The Morgue. And this is the first two rows swatched. Everything felt really creamy and smooth to the touch. There's pigment all the way through both the mattes and the shimmers. As I mentioned earlier, I'm just a little sad about hers. I was hoping it to be a little bit more richer and pigmented and bam in your face, because I love a good matte black. My favorite matte black shade I've ever used is Shady from the Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag palette. Mausoleum and Bald Eulogy. Life Insurance, Last Respects, Goodbye. Almost feel like these three shades are very similar to each other. And this is the third rose swatched. Obituary, Burial Gown, Afterlife. Casket Ready, Death Blow, Diamond Ashes. And this is the bottom two rows swatched. I'm not really crazy about these last two rows. I think they're just very similar. Something that I would have liked to have seen in this palette is a little bit more blue undertone gray shades. I just love those shades so much. Those shades just speak to me, or like really dark maroon and burgundy shades would have complemented this palette as well. Even some like rich purples. Despite the claim of 50 shades of gray, I think there's only like a few shades really, and some of them just felt really repetitive, especially in the third and fourth rows. They're just so similar to each other looking at them. Hopefully it applies a little bit differently on the eyelid, but I'm definitely a lot more drawn to the first two rows of this palette. I definitely think that the shades in this palette could have been a little bit better. If you think about Bloodlust, it had like that weird yellow green shade, the red, that beautiful teal shade, and even though those shades weren't necessarily purple, it still gave the palette a lot more to work with, where I feel very limited on this palette because of how repetitive the shades are. We'll see if that translates onto the eyes. So I think I'm gonna definitely focus on the top two rows. I think that gives me a little bit more to work with. I still think these bottom rows have something to bring to the table with respect to cleaning up looks or setting your eyeshadow base, or even like an inner corner highlight. I think I'm gonna start off with Solemnly Swear first. There is a ton of kick up in this pan, and I am just going to slab it on all over the crease area. I'll work on bringing it up a little bit. I'm just starting out where my lid and crease meet. The shade is actually really pretty. I think it's slightly pulling that blue undertone that I would have liked to see in maybe some more shades to this palette. This shade is blending out fairly nice. I'm finding myself having to build it up a little bit to my liking, which I rather do, since this shade has shown us that it has potential of being BAM pigment, but it can also be super light if you don't want it to be this deep. Definitely am looking at Wednesday to help cleaning this up a bit, but we're just getting started right now. I feel like I've already made a dent in this pan because of how much kick up there is. So I think I'm gonna take Wednesday next to help smooth out the edges around the crease. Oh, I like this shade a lot. It's definitely making a difference. It looks a lot more cleaner, more smoked out, without any harshness. I feel like that shade kind of dominated a little bit much, so we might have to go back in and even it out. For now, I don't have any additional product. I'm just gonna go back and forth, kind of windshield wiper motions where the lid and the crease meet, just to help bring back that dimension when we went in with the first shade, Solemnly Swear. I kind of want to take Angel of Death for the outer portion of my lid, and then Pallbearer for the inner portion. This shade is really pretty. On the same brush, I just cleaned it off on my solid brush cleanser. I'm gonna go in with Pallbearer. This shade reminds me a lot of that yellow green shade that was in Bloodlust. It's so pretty, but it doesn't always want to work with your lid. Also, I got some of that shade in my eye and there was a slight burn. to it and my eye is like now inflamed. Kind of having flashbacks to the Mulan ColourPop review where I got glitter in my eye, and then just slightly going back into Angel of Death to bring the two together a little bit more. Eyeliner and lash is going to be a little challenging for my right eye because it's so watery and irritated right now from that damn shade. It's gorgeous, don't get me wrong. And then just slightly going back into Wednesday to clean things up. I'm going to add some eyeliner to my lid and waterline. It's probably pointless putting some on my upper eyelid, but I'm going to take the Hank & Henry liquid eyeliner on the lid and then the Tarte Easy on the Eyes for the bottom waterline. I think I'm going to take Grave Digger right here to smoke out the lower lash line. And then just to get a little bit more dramatic, let's take Diamond Ashes for the inner corners. I was expecting this shade to have a little bit more pop to it. So overall, without putting lashes and mascara on right now, I do like the look a lot. It is definitely up my alley. I think I could have found the shades that I used to create this look in the ColourPop Smoke Show palette. I don't necessarily think I would have needed this entire palette for that. I did not dip into this row except for Diamond Ashes, which isn't that beaming in the inner corners. It kind of blends in with Pallbearer. Guess I should have wetted it, but I kind of wanted to give it a chance and see. But I think that the mattes blended out really nice. Solemnly Swear and Wednesday were a really nice combination. They work really nice together. I really like Angel of Death. I really liked how the sparkle showed up on it. That was an issue that I had with the shade in Bloodlust. There were some beautiful purple sparkles in it, and those didn't show up. I think Pallbearer is definitely taking over the lid a little bit. Pallbearer had some stinging sensation when it fell into my eye, and it also really needed to be built up a bit. Parts of my lid were having issues adhering to it, so I don't know if a finger would have worked out better or wetting it, but it reminded me a lot of that yellow green shade from Bloodlust. And then Diamond Ashes, I just wish it was just a little bit brighter in the inner corners. When you're looking at the eye look, the lid and the inner corners look very similar. I don't know if it's looking a little bit different on camera, maybe a little bit more blue with Pallbearer, but that's kind of where I wish a lot of these tones kind of pull a little bit more blue undertones to give it like a more dimension shift. And then Gravedigger looks really nice on the lower lash line. I did struggle smoking it out, not because of the shade, but because my eyes were starting to water really bad, especially this eye the most, so I did have to switch a couple of brushes just to get it nice and smoked out. I feel like I'm ready for the Black Parade, but I think I need lashes first. I do have the glosses. I'm not sure which lipstick I'm gonna go with. Originally, I pulled out a black lipstick, but it just reminded me too much of my Smoke Show look. But I also set out one of my most favorite vampy shades that I have in my collection, which is Hello Stranger from ColourPop. It is like my go-to lip shade. So I kind of want to see how these glosses work with it. For lashes, I have my Lash Scoop lashes in the style Lizzie. These have been getting so many compliments. I think I've already used these about almost 10 times, so it's like half the lifespan. I would love to have more backups to the style just because it works with so many looks. It's just such a beautiful style. Kind of fitting that I started a thunderstorm while filming this video. Coincidence? I think not. I think for like this witchy themed look, I'm not gonna really dive into bronzer, blush, or highlight. I'm just going to leave my face with just foundation as it is, and let's focus on the glosses next. So the first gloss shade we have is Heaven's Gate. Ooh, that is pretty. This shade almost reminds me of Fenty's gloss. Oh my gosh, I really like this a lot. Like if I don't have like a matching gloss to go with whatever lipstick I put on my lips, I like to go towards glosses like this because it's gonna look really nice over so many different shades to really amplify the juiciness, the sparkle and shine on the lips. Next we have Coroner's Kiss. Ooh, that's like a very pretty gray green. Ooh, I have nothing like that in my collection. That's very unique. Usually I pair glosses with lipsticks. I'm not sure which lipstick shade I would pair with in my collection. I can see some like pink and gold sparkles in it, so that will definitely provide a really pretty shift on the lips. Next we have Funeral Parlor. Oh wow, I kind of want some gray lipsticks. I don't have any, I don't think, but this shade is absolutely stunning. And then the last shade we have 6 Feet Under, which reminds me of All Time Low. 6 feet under the stars. Ooh, I love that so much. I know with these 3 shades I definitely don't have in my collection, so I'm very excited for those, especially shades 3 and 4. Those are definitely up my alley. I hope that they work out well with Hello Stranger. I'm very nervous for this since this is a vampy red shade. I guess I'll apply it first and then kind of decide which gloss we're gonna go with. So I'm kind of feeling 6 Feet Under right now to go over this. I definitely see like the shine effect, but I don't really see the sparkles, which I am a little sad about, but it kind of gave it like a nice kind of effect going on from the shade of 6 Feet Under on it. So that is actually really cool. I just wish it was a little bit more sparkly for my liking. But other than that, I definitely think it amplified this lip shade a lot. Definitely curious to see how these glosses would wear alone. And before I forget, because I will forget, set the face with the Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day Setting Spray. I put a spell on you and I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. I hope you guys enjoyed creating this look with me. I know I don't really do many traditional smoky eyes on my channel, but I'm low-key living for it. I would love to see next pairing this palette with Blue Blood and Bloodlust because I think these shades will complement the blues and the purples so nice. I would love to know if you picked up the palette or the glosses and how was your experience with it. What are some of your favorite color combinations? I know looking at this palette, the bottom 2 rows just don't really call to me, but I would love to know what colors you guys use. Maybe it'll be some more inspiration for me. Did you pair it with any other palettes and how did that work out as well? And which is your favorite gloss and what other lipsticks did you put them over? And don't forget to check out Jami's video. I'm really excited to see her approach on creating a witchy look. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and if you don't, I appreciate your review anyways, and I'll see you in the next video.